Hi everybody, this is Mike at Mike's Custom Work. So I'm going to show you guys a little cool introduction video on how to cook some really insane stuff. Now, I am doing what's known as a sink soak. Obviously, make sure your sink is clean and make sure there is absolutely no soap in it at all. I think I said to you guys before, I also do cooking intros and how to cook some probably really insane food. So what we got going on in here today, we got two sets of ribs. These are pork loin ribs. I got these two big boys from Costco, and what we're doing is we're going to put them in what is a nice little defrosting in the water. You don't want it too warm, and you want it to be more of an indirect when you're releasing this. When you take meat and you put it in water, for an example, let it soak to defrost, you want to get a little pepper going. You know, you want to get a little spices going. The reason why is because all this meat's going to do is defrost and also suck up what is actually in the water. Now, of course, I know a lot of people who are probably subscribed to the channel, or people who are floating around the internet looking for something to watch, are going to watch this video and go, "Oh my God, that is so unsanitary." And they're going to comment that, you know, if anybody's watching this, they're going to get like rat poisoning or salmonella poisoning or some other weird poisoning. I'm 29 years old. I've been cooking like this for 5 years. I'm not dead. I don't shit my brains out after I eat my food. You know what I end up doing? I go, I want more of it. Okay, take some bay leaves. Oh, not that one. That one's closed. Well, anyway, you can take anything, even like crushed pepper flakes. You know, we want to change the flavor of this water. And basically what's going to happen is this is going to sit in here with all the seasoning and spices. It's a big problem, but this is how you kind of want it, and you're going to cook this for a decent amount of time. So what I have in my mystery containers is different types of meat that I cook and their fats all sit inside these containers. The reason why is because when I cook stuff like ribs or deer or elk or bison or buffalo, or what I soon will be doing actually is alligator, I like to have basically what's known as my fat that I don't have. Now what happens is when you cook meats like this and you want to keep them really moist, but you don't want to cook them in a pan on the smoker, you actually end up wanting to cook it with fat. So we're going to defrost that a little bit. I should have put on defrost mode instead, because putting it on that mode is just stupid. Defrost. Do 2 minutes. Oh no, it's not poultry. Well, it's fat is what it is. Defrost. Press 1 for meat. 1. Now enter pounds. It's like 1 pound, I think. Okay. Press start. There we go. Okay. 9 minutes. Awesome. You did not watch me not know how to use my microwave. All right, so I'm going to grab a little bowl like I normally do, or a little cup is where I'm going to put my phone in. Because one of the things we're going to do right now is we want to start making a sauce. Okay, so we want to put a little mix in this sink. So one of the things we are using is barbecue sauce. We're going to do some barbecue pulled pork seasoning, and I'm going to be doing a tropical blend. Now my tropical blend involves me doing this. So some pineapple. Now before you can even do this, you got to do it the right way. You gotta make sure you pour it. Some pineapple juice, fresh sliced pineapple juice. Put some Malibu rum in there. Okay, so that's your cooking drink. So other than that, you're going to do, for the size of the ribs, it's more or less of something like, if you have done this before, you know what it is. If you haven't done this before, then you're not going to know what this is. So it's a full can. And dump that whole can right in. This is our seasoning. So basically what's going to happen is the sliced pineapple that are going to be soaking with the Malibu and the Crown Royal are actually going to get basted on the meat when it's sitting on the smoker. And like I said, you also, as you're keeping this soaked, just don't forget to keep kind of like rotating it as well. Okay, we got that defrosted. Let's check on this so the container doesn't explode. Oh, okay, so that's looking nice. That's going to be our first set-off stage. We're also going to keep that for basting purposes as well, because we are going to do a mild barbecue sauce on there that's going to have this mixed in. So we're going to put our rum in. Sorry if I'm a little all over the map with stuff, people, but I'll run through it quick. So you do your pineapple, put some rum in, okay, then you want to get your Crown Royal whiskey. The reason why is because all the different flavors and the sugars in it will caramelize awesomely, if that's a word. Hold on, where are you going? Come here. Grab your glass. Not seeing the afternoon. That's good. Okay.
Wow. Pineapple juice and what?
Malibu. Not that cheap. Save for my later night, my date later tonight. Anyway, I have no date later tonight. It's probably with me sitting in front of my computer watching movies like normally. When that comes up, can you just hit like next, like skip the ad or some crap? Thank you. So anyway, so we got this, okay? All gonna get put together. We're soaking the pineapple chunks right now because we want them to have that nice flavor. That's gonna have the Crown Royal, and it's gonna have the rum. These are gonna sit right on top of the meat when it's sitting inside the smoker. We're gonna do a cherry wood with Jack Daniels, so it gets that Jack Daniels nice whiskey sweet flavor through it, and has that nice cherry wood hit to it. Okay, so I know obviously I've showed you these guys about a million times. So first thing, I'm gonna start off with Jack Daniels wood soak. So take the Jack Daniels, put it in the bowl, let it soak. Next is gonna be cherry after a couple minutes. I do like going for the lumps versus the charcoal briskets, or briquettes, sorry, not briskets. The reason why is because they burn hotter and they stay hot longer. And also I like going for doing it the old school way like this, for an example, versus using lighter fluid and briquettes that light easily. I like going for this because it gives it a real natural flavor, and it doesn't have that weird charcoal flavor that you don't want because you're not grilling, you're smoking. It shouldn't have that smell. So always make sure when you clean it out that you put your wet pans upside down in here so you don't produce more mosquitoes in your neighborhood, FYI. And those things you always want to fill them with water. You could fill them with anything. You could put lemon juice in here, you could put lime juice in here, you could put like mint. I'm going to try something a little different. I'm not going to talk when I'm holding the hose. Alright, so we're back inside the house, letting the fire can go. We found a little paper tag I wanted to show you. But it's a pork loin back ribs. It was 22 bucks for 9 pounds. Not bad. That's a lot of ribs. Okay, so now we moved everything into the backyard. I put this in a bigger container with a lid on it, bowl. This is the pineapple. I put a little bit more Crown Royal in there, and then I did a little squirt of barbecue sauce. We got our fat adder barbecue mix. Basically, I know I said it once, I didn't really go into it too much. So every time I cook, all the leftover, the grizzle and the fat goes in here. Then what happens is a lot of times, like, you know, when you're done cooking, you have all the fat from the meat. What I do is I put it all to the side in a container, and then I render it by boiling it slowly, so I can get basically a liquid fat. It sounds very disgusting, but it's very good on the food. I got a pulled pork seasoning, and then also I like to do stuff with my herbs. So I have fresh picked parsley, I got my basil that I need, and then also have spearmint and regular mint. And the reason why I use those is because it's part of one of my new specials that I'm going to be doing of types of food, and that mint is so good with meat. I mean, you don't even know what you're missing. So that's ready. That's ready to get dumped in there so we can start bringing the temperature up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take actually some of this mint, and I'm not going to use all of it, but I'm going to use some of it. I'm going to put you guys here. I'm going to take the mint, I'm going to take one leaf section like such. I'm going to cut it multiple times and then drop it in the water that's inside the fire pit, inside the box. I'm going to do that with the same one here. And basically what I'm doing is I'm spiking my water a little bit. So I'm going to also do that with some parsley, because I want that water to have that nice aroma to it. It's that nice, good Italian aroma, okay? So do that as well. And I'm going to do that with some basil on both of them. You know, and it doesn't matter. If you have a basil plant, you know, you can use as much herbs and spices as you want to an obvious point before it starts tasting like you're really trying to compensate for something you don't need to. So I'll flop you here. I'm not using my normal camera, so. Like I said, all these are for, before we plop in those hot coals, is just so we can bring some flavor to the water. I'm gonna nice and cut it. The reason why is when you cut stuff, it releases all the oils, especially into the water. And this water basically boils. I mean, we're looking at 200, 300, 350, 345, 400 degrees. You want this to boil with all these oils in it. You want that nice herby smell. Gives it a nice aroma. You know, because all this moisture does is it boils, it releases off steam. That steam now ends up in the bottom of your meat. Nobody get funny with me. So now we got our mint. Okay. Just about ready to dump it in. Dump in the hot coals, close the top. So much prepping for a little bit of meat. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, so now you want to do your little stir. Okay. Oink. Slide the grilled meats back over. I cleaned mine last time, so that's why they look really nice and clean. Got a little herb garden just sitting there. And this up. Make sure that's closed. Make sure this is open. Okay, that looks nice, right? It's not going to be enough to heat it, the food the whole time, so we're going to have to make maybe 2 or 3 more of those. Alright, so I took the pork ribs out of their bath that was in the sink, their soaking brine bath, with the chili peppers and regular black pepper. Got one curled up, that's the small guy. We got the big guy here. It's still a little frozen, but that's okay. Because as soon as it gets introduced to that hot heat in there, this stuff will just constantly defrost really quick. And with the constant basting of the multiple different spices that we have, such as the tropical sauce that I have for it, which has got the Malibu and the Crown Royal. That will give it a nice glazing on it. Plus also we have the fat from all the other meats, which is a light spicy barbecue mix that's on it. So that'll also keep it nice and moist as well as it gets through its process. Okay, so now we got the ribs on there. I just placed them on. I got the rub on there. So now we're just gonna let them sit for a little bit. We got our wireless thermometer, which is over here. Now the thing is that this guy's gonna obviously cook a lot quicker. So I wanna stick it in the big guy. The problem I have a lot is finding where I'm gonna stick the wire. So I wanna stick it in the big guy, because the big guy, that's the one that's more important than anything else. We do have a big section of meat right here that is closer to the pit. And we do have like the ribs in the way. We don't want the wire touching anything really. It's nothing more than just, you know, you don't need it touching anything. So just try to get that needle right in there. Fold this back maybe. Okay, and just run the wiring across. You just let it hang down. Okay. We can have it sitting over here somewhere. I need to have like a little shelf I gotta make. And turn that on. Okay. I'm gonna close the top for now. Try not to lose too much heat. Go to my thermometer. We are doing it's a pork, so you want the meat in there as pork. 160 for medium, which is perfect. And the probe we want is a tip. And the tip says 43 degrees. Cool, buddy. So, I'm gonna let that keep going. I'm gonna make another firebox. We're gonna let that sit for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes are done, we're gonna start adding a couple things. We're gonna start adding some of the mint on there. I'm gonna cut up the mint. I'm gonna cut up the basil. I'm gonna cut up some parsley. Cover it with the mint, basil, and parsley. Then I'm gonna put the pineapple slices on there after I cover it with that sauce. So put the sauce on there, then put the pineapple slices on the meat. And I'm gonna let that cook from like that on. And you do the same thing. You actually take the pineapple slices off, you put them to the side, flip it over so that it's bare juiced on the grill plate, on the grill pad. And then you let that cook for another half an hour to an hour, upside down, so the meat is getting all those flavors. That's when you're really hitting it with the smoke. You're hitting it with the Jack Daniels, hitting it with the cherry. You get that really thick smoke right in there. It's hitting the meat directly. You got the parsley, basil, mint, water hitting it. It's gonna hit it with 90 million flavors. Plus, we got the Malibu rum that's in there. We got the Crown Royal that's in there. We got the honey barbecue sauce. We got the pulled pork rub that's on there. If I'm missing anything else, we also have the fat that's in the little container as well. So there's a lot of definitely a little ins and outs of things. So I'm gonna hit up with you guys about an hour into it. So yeah. Okay, so after a couple minutes now, what we did was we added the parsley, the basil, the mint to the meat. I ran over it with the liquor blend. You know, we got the Caribbean blend on it. Now we just put the pineapples on it that have been soaking. They're gonna stay on it the whole time. The next thing that's gonna get down the line is the fat time, but that's after it gets a couple more doses of this, and it's gotta sit here for a good hour. I mean, we're only at 45 degrees for this meat. We gotta get to easily 100 before we start dousing it with more and more fluids. And we gotta get that smoke going. We gotta get the heat back up in the air. It's low right now. I closed it down because I was adding another firebox. I'm gonna toss this up. See how low it gets? You gotta always stay on top of it. That's your biggest fail if you're cooking, is if you are not staying on top of your heat. And the best thing you really wanna do is use a nice natural hardwood wood, either lumps or the coal, because it's just way better. It is. You get that nice woodsiness to it. I'm gonna start opening this up, start venting out everything. And once we start doing the Jack Daniels, you just alternate. So you do Jack Daniels, you do cherry, you just alternate back and forth. Is another good trick too. So I gotta grab my little spoon for that. Get rid of some of the utensils, some silverware and stuff. You just always constantly keep your cleaning process going. But I'll touch base with you guys more times as things trickle down the line. So this is a weird first for me. So while I was in the process of moving things around, I realized there was actually another stack of ribs connected to one of the ribs. So there's 3 full stacks of ribs, plus this thin slice of meat in between. But this is what we got the current stash of it right now. We're at 100 degrees at an hour and 30 minutes in. Obviously, as you can tell, I did flip it. I do have this sitting, as you can see, all the juices that are in here. It's very good. For the next half an hour, I'm actually not even gonna flip it. I'm gonna run smoke. So actually we got the cherry wood soaking in there for a good hour right now. You see it's sweating, all the fat is sweating on here, okay? Put the rest of the fat inside. We actually just pulled out the bottle of Crown Royal, added a little bit more to the mix for when we do it on the flip side. We have two buckets actually just put in now of fire, of wood and stuff. Is that a mosquito? Oh, what the hell that was. Okay, we got 2 buckets we just plopped in there now. So now we're gonna do 5 of these, 5 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, I do love a nice even coat of wood on top of the coals. The reason why is because as the wood on top of the coals goes down, it's gonna build one hell of a smoke. Now what's funny is a lot of people think, oh man, I gotta put like more of that in there to do anything. I'm actually let it run right now. As you can see, we're at like 240, give or take. Temperature outside actually dropped, so now we got moisture on the thermometer, which is freaking great, but it's gonna start smoking really quick. So as you can see, we're at 104 at an hour and 30 minutes in. And it will smoke like this, and it'll get a little thicker and thicker and thicker over the course of about half an hour, easily half an hour. So we're gonna let that run for 1 full more hour, because we're only at 106. We're not even there yet. So every hour, like I said, you want to flip the meat so that each side gets a nice even coating of smoke. It gets the glaze, it gets the crispiness going on, it gets the sexy flavor that you're looking for inside your meat. Of course, the longer you sit up here, the more you drink. Let's smoke up a little more. 106.1. Catch you guys in about half an hour. Yeah, so about 2 hours in. I'm gonna hit you guys up again so you can see what the other side look. Once we flip it, what it looks like. That pineapple slices that you see, they are gonna constantly get put back on top of it, back and forth, back and forth. Because all you're just doing is you want that nice slow drip of the pineapple juices that are constantly getting soaked into the meat. We're about that 2 hour mark in. Now we're going to take everything that's here, put it to the side again, such as the slices of pineapple. We're going to flip the ribs. A nice little coating that's on them. Mind you, everything is going to be really hot, especially after 2 hours. It's easy to double stack stuff, so you don't have to always move it twice. Hot, 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 hot. When it's easier, just do it without the cones. The bigger the meat, the harder it is to move. Nice in there. So now we got the side that's already cooked from the heat is on this side. We got the fresh side that has yet to be cooked, just like that, with a nice little crisping going on. Flip it around. Always keep it flipped. So now you see how this guy's getting really cooked quick. I'm going to slide him down just a hair, just so he's not on top of everything. Look at that, people. That is getting really, really nice. I'm going to pull the thermometer out. Well, unfortunately, every time you change the position of it, it's going to get a different heat system on it. Wow, it's hot. Now you're going to take the thermometer. Now, because we're moving spots, we'll find it over here right by the heat.
Stick that in there. You're going to plop it down below. Don't forget your pineapple. Boop, boop. What's nice is grabbing the pineapple slices, they are still nice and juicy. That is a very good sign. That means that no matter what, nothing got lost. And you're always going to end up cutting different sections off, slicing it up. So now we got our little Crown Royal and barbecue mix. And make sure we just coat it. Constantly keeping the ribs nice and moist. Because now the smoker's running at 400 degrees. Plop it down. Cut this down just a little bit. About half. Just so this slows all the temperature down before we start the next stage. Which is basically, now we're going to let it sit for another half an hour. Actually, no, sorry. We're going to let it sit for 15 minutes, then we're going to add more wood chips to it. And then let it sit for half an hour. Ribs. They're all nice and cut. Obviously, afterwards. Pineapple. It's just simple as that. Nice, sweet, succulent. Actually, it's a pineapple. One rib turned sideways. Right amount of fat. Right amount of meat. Nice, clean, flavorful, very tasty. It's the best way to go for if you want to do a nice sweet rib recipe. Pork, loin, ribs, Costco. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. Yeah, mine's gone. I give my other half to my neighbor. Well, it was weird. We ended up finding a second one in there. I think that's in the video. If this part is, I'm going to cut it. If I do forget to cut this, then you're going to hear this part. But we ended up finding an extra cut, so I gave my neighbor one. So 9 pounds of ribs for 20 bucks. Longer than the pan. Are insane. So definitely this is the way you want to do them on a smoker. I went from 9 o'clock to about 12-ish. A little after 9. It was like 9:30, maybe. I think closer to 10 to 12 o'clock. So 3 to 4 hours. You know what? A wireless thermometer is the best way to go. Because to tell you it's going to take 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 hours, your thermometer will give you the accurate time. The hotter it is, the quicker it cooks, the slower it cooks, the lower the temperature is. It's very simple as that. But every hour you flip it, every 20 minutes you add smoke, wood, so you get smoke, and that's basically it. You get a nice section of meat. It looks insane. I'm gonna go eat mine. I'll talk to you people some other time.